The Chicago Bears went 11-6 last season. They won the NFC North. Then they lost in the divisional round, and the front office started making a list. At the top sits a 6-year senior from the Miami Hurricanes. This player picked off 2 passes in 2025 and took both back for touchdowns. He lined up in the slot, he blitzed off the edge, he dropped as a safety. Dennis Allen has been building his defense for a weapon like this. Chicago does not want him. Chicago needs him. The free agency board shifted under Ryan Poles this spring. Kobe Bryant signed from Seattle. Devin Bush inked a $30 million deal to anchor the second level of the defense. Neville Gallimore joined the interior rotation. Caleb Williams enters year 3 with one of the deepest pass catcher groups in the NFC North, led by Colston Loveland, who finished his rookie season with 713 receiving yards. 7 draft picks sit in front of Chicago, 4 inside the top 90. One surprise at pick 25 is about to flip the entire board. The defense lost 4 of the top 5 safeties. The center position is empty after Drew Dalman retired this offseason. The left tackle spot sits cracked open because Ozzie Trapilo is out for most of 2026 with a patellar tendon injury. Every one of these holes has a name attached from this draft, and one of them sets Chicago up to beat the Detroit Lions twice next year. Not once, twice. The division is there for the taking, and the 12-win projection is already sitting on the desk at Hallis Hall. But before we get into that, hit that like and subscribe button for more Bears and all the NFL content. Let's aim for 300 likes on this video. Chicago lost 4 safeties in free agency. Kevin Byard, Jaquan Brisker, C.J. Gardner-Johnson, and Jonathan Owens all signed elsewhere. 4 names gone. Kobe Bryant arrived from Seattle to fill one of the 2 starting spots. The other spot is wide open. Nobody on the roster has locked it down. The scouting department has been circling this hole for months. The name showing up in mock drafts is Emmanuel McNeil-Warren from Toledo. 5 career interceptions, 9 forced fumbles in 4 years at a small program. Dennis Allen has been vocal about wanting physical defensive backs who align in multiple spots. McNeil-Warren lines up deep, in the box, and over the slot. Dylan Thieneman from Oregon is the other name in play, with cleaner pedigree from a Power 4 program. Both sit in a range where pick 25 is too early and pick 57 might be too late. Ben Johnson spoke at the league meetings in Arizona. He called it a marriage between the pass rush and coverage. The front office knows another safety starter sits on the need list. The question becomes when to pull the trigger. Pick 25 is rich for the tier these safeties occupy. Pick 57 might reach at a position running fast once one safety comes off the board. Chicago has a bigger hole in the trenches to weigh against this one. Chicago finished last season with 35 sacks, 7th worst in the NFL. Montez Sweat returns. Dayo Odeyingbo returns from a torn Achilles. Austin Booker returns as the 3rd edge. On paper, the room looks fine. On tape, the pass rush went missing for long stretches, and the front office knows adding one more name is the difference between a playoff team and a contender. 3 edge rushers sit in range at pick 25. Keldrick Falk from Auburn brings 6'6" and 276 pounds with 5 technique and edge rotation history. His sack number dipped to 2 in 2025, but Auburn moved him all over the front. T.J. Parker from Clemson runs more refined hands in a 3-down floor, with 2 years of starting tape at 6'3" and 260 pounds. Zion Young from Missouri racked up 6.5 sacks in 2025 at 6'5", 262 pounds, with 33-inch arms. Dennis Allen covets length, physicality, and motor. Keldrick Falk checks every box on size and youth at 21 years old. T.J. Parker fits what Clemson has been pumping out for a decade. Zion Young delivers the cleanest statistical profile of the 3. One of these 3 lands on Chicago with the 25th pick if the tackle board falls the wrong way for the Bears. A different path has Chicago walking past all 3. Ozzie Trapilo started 7 games at left tackle last season, 7 starts down the stretch, including the wild card win over Green Bay. Then came the playoff loss, and the patellar tendon injury cost him the first half of 2026. Braxton Jones plays on a 1-year deal. Jedrick Wills plays on a 1-year deal. Chicago walked into this draft with a tackle problem the national media missed. The tackle class falls off a cliff after the top 7. Francis Mauigoa from Miami, Spencer Fano from Utah, Monroe Freeling from Georgia, Caden Proctor from Alabama, Caleb Lomu from Utah, Blake Miller from Clemson, Max Ihanakor from Arizona State. 7 names, 6 go in the first round on most boards. 1 name sits closer to the round 2 line, and he is the reason the Bears front office has been quietly doing top 30 visits on left tackles. The math forces Chicago into one of 3 lanes at pick 25. Take the tackle, take the edge rusher, take the safety. Trading back is the 4th option, but teams usually need a quarterback or a tackle desperate enough to move up. This year, a tackle run is set up perfectly for Chicago to stand pat at 25 and grab the falling name. The full 7-round walk through Chicago's class starts with this single choice. Pick 25 goes Trench. Pick 57 brings the 6th-year senior from the Miami Hurricanes, Keontae Scott. This is the name from the top of the trailer. A junior college transfer turned Auburn starter turned Miami chess piece. In 2025, he logged 5 sacks, 13 tackles for loss, 2 forced fumbles, 2 recoveries, and 2 pick sixes. He was the only player in the FBS with multiple interceptions returned for touchdowns. Chicago brought him in for a top 30 visit on April 13th. The trade comes next. Chicago sends pick 60 to Pittsburgh for pick 76 and pick 99. At 76, the board delivers Danny Dennis Sutton, the Penn State edge who ran a 4.63 40 at 6'5" and 265 pounds. At 99, the pick becomes Logan Jones, the Iowa center who projects as a future starter on the interior line. Pick 89 lands on Dejon Stribling, the 6'2" Ole Miss receiver who ran a 4.36 40 and fits Ben Johnson and his run-after-catch system. Pick 129 brings Takario Davis, the 6'3" Washington cornerback with 33-inch arms and a 4.36 40. Pick 239 picks up Khalil Dinkins, the Penn State tight end and physical run blocker whose father Darnell Dinkins played 8 years in the NFL. Pick 241 closes with Jaden Ott, the Oklahoma running back who lit up the Senior Bowl as a 3-down weapon. Keontae Scott is the answer from the trailer. He is the chess piece Chicago has been missing since Kyler Gordon signed his extension. Chicago won the NFC North last season. The Bears beat Detroit, Green Bay, and Minnesota enough times to lock the division. Detroit picks ahead of Chicago and leans hard into the trench class. Green Bay needs safety, help, and offensive line depth. Minnesota retooled after losing pieces of the defense. Every NFC North opponent has a gap Chicago exploits with the right draft class. Detroit Lions attack through the run game. Chicago, adding a left tackle and a hybrid safety, answers the Lions' playbook. Green Bay Packers live on explosive plays to their receivers. Chicago, adding Keontae Scott as a slot safety hybrid, takes a weapon away from Jordan Love on 3rd downs. Minnesota Vikings pressure the quarterback with creative blitz packages. Chicago, solidifying the offensive line with their 1st-round pick and leaning on a 3rd-year Caleb Williams keeps the pocket clean. Winning the NFC North once is hard. Winning it back-to-back is legacy work. Every name Chicago adds this weekend gets them a step closer. Jalen Johnson healthy 16 games. Kyler Gordon in the slot. Kobe Bryant deep. A rookie safety next to him. A tackle upgrade. An edge rotation with 5 bodies. The division math sits in Chicago's favor. The single pick at 25 is about to prove it. Here is the reveal. Chicago drafts Caleb Lomu, the Utah left tackle, with the 25th pick of the 2026 NFL Draft. 6'6", 313 pounds, 33 3/8-inch arms, redshirt sophomore, turns 22 in December, 2 years starting on the blind side for Utah. 0 sacks allowed in 2025 across 823 snaps at left tackle. The national media pushed Keldrick Falk, TJ Parker, and Peter Woods to Chicago for weeks. Every one of them is a fine player. None of them fits the Bears' building plan the way Lomu does. Ryan Poles built the offensive line by spending premium cash on Joe Thuney and signing Jedrick Wills on a prove-it deal. The left tackle spot is the last open position on the offensive front, and Lomu is the cleanest technician in the class among tackles who drop outside the top 10. The Bears brought Lomu in for a top 30 visit this spring. The building likes his feet, his hip mobility, and his pass protection form. He plays next to Joe Thuney in year 1. He takes over full-time as Ozzie Trapilo rehabs the patellar tendon. By 2027, the Bears' offensive line with Lomu, Thuney, a young center, Jonah Jackson, and Darnell Wright projects as a top 10 unit in the NFL. Pick 25 sets up the entire next 2 seasons of Bears football. The projection is 12 wins, 12-5, for the 2026 Chicago Bears, back-to-back NFC North titles, a home playoff game at Soldier Field, and the single claim every Bears fan wants to hear said out loud. Chicago beats Detroit next year. This draft class is the reason. Caleb Lomu protects Caleb Williams. Keontae Scott closes the slot. Danny Dennis Sutton rotates with Dayo Odeyingbo and Austin Booker. Logan Jones develops into a future starting center. Dejon Stribling gives Ben Johnson a new vertical piece. 7 picks, 7 answers to 7 holes. The roster Ryan Poles built over 4 seasons reaches the finish stage this draft weekend. Drop your win total prediction in the comments. Type 12 if you agree. Type any number lower if you disagree. Subscribe for the Bears breakdown coming next on the training camp battles set up by this class. The real question after the draft is whether Caleb Williams takes the leap from good to elite in year 3. The answer lives in how Ben Johnson weaponizes the tools he picked up this weekend. The Bears won last year with low expectations. The 2026 expectations sit on a higher shelf.